Guys, you're really going to enjoy this conversations with Brandon from Dark and Cyrus. It was a great interview. He had some very thoughtful and insightful answers to some of the questions. Great interview.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, one of my favorites, and I hope it'll be one of yours too.
And our guest this week is Brandon from Dark and Cyrus, man. How's it going?
Yeah,
How's it
it's
going,
going
man?
great. It's going great, Kevin, Felix. Thank you all so much for having me on today. Really excited about this.
Oh man, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. The first question I always want to ask first is, what is Dark and Cyrus, and how did that YouTube channel start?
Yeah, so the story is it's a long one, but we can keep it on the shorter side. So the story of Dark and Cyrus goes back to 2018. Before I'm a full-time creator now. But before that, I was actually a high school teacher. I taught high school music and high school chorus and orchestra, and it was a fantastic opportunity. I loved it. I did it for over 10 years, and music is a huge part of my life that now becoming a creator has just kind of, I haven't done a lot of it lately. But when I was a teacher, one of the biggest pieces that is a part of who I am and who I tried to make into my curriculum was trying to make sure that people had a way to grow. And it wasn't just here's grow musically, it was about growing you as a person and as a student. And I made sure to build those relationships even with the kids that were difficult, right? And so 2018, the school year 17-18, I had a kid come to me and he was like, hey, we should do something with esports. Like esports was pretty popular at the time. This was right around the time of like Fortnite taking off and all this crazy stuff. And he was like, we should do an esports team and be a part of that. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I'll look into it. So for the next 2 months, I did research, made this team. We got approval from the board, approval from the school. I set up the meeting, had the meeting, and 60 kids showed up to that first meeting. Mind you, there are only 550 kids in this entire school. So 60 kids show up to the meeting, and it was fantastic. It was lovely. We were doing things like Super Smash, R6, a whole bunch of different games for them to be able to be a part of a team, right? And from that, we signed, I think, 44 kids, which is just under 10% of the school, right? To that. We actually had kids who were quitting spring sports to be a part of the esports team because I would not let them be on both because I wanted them to make sure they made a choice, right?
Right.
So I was not a popular person in the school when it came to athletics. Let me just say that. But it was a kid's choice and they had to make that themselves, right? So 6 weeks into the season, it's going great. We're winning. We're doing really well. We're the only team. I'm in South Carolina. We were the only team in South Carolina in our division. And we were winning nationally, and it was really nice. Well, I got a call. It was Monday, last period, right before I'm about to have my team meeting just after school. And it was cancel all meets for this week, all games. Don't meet today. I need you to come to my office. And I was like, why? This was my principal at the time.
Right.
And so I called everyone, messaged in the Discord chat. First time I ever had Discord was this, by the way. Message in Discord, hey guys, meeting's canceled. See you tomorrow. Went up to the principal. The principal's like, hey, so the district office has decided that we don't want to proceed with this anymore, that video games does not need to be a part of this curriculum, and we feel like this is not positive for the kids. Not that there's been any negative incidents or anything. I taught in a very conservative district. That's the best way to say that.
Okay.
So that was it. So the next day, I kept my mouth shut. I told the kids that we would meet Wednesday. So I planned it out and I made the principal come to the meeting with me, with all of them. And I said, you don't have to say anything. I said, but I'm not doing this alone. And letting all of these kids who, by the way, one of their requirements is they had to have a C average, just like athletics. And most of these kids, you can imagine, are gamers. They're skipping school. Their grades are awful. Or you had the ones that were, very, very affluent when it comes to education. Wide range. A lot of these kids brought their grades up and were bringing me their report card and their stuff from their teachers. And so not only were they working to be on the team, but they were working to improve on the team. So I had to cancel. And it was a year, probably almost 2 years that I fought to bring that program back. And it was, we'll meet next month about it with the board. We'll meet next month about it with the board. Never wanted me there. It was always just people behind closed doors. It was awful. But during that process, when it finished, I made a new Discord. And that Discord was called what my community is today, called The Darkness. And from that, I hosted esports tournaments, local ones, in the Discord. We made it work. I actually had several kids get full scholarships to colleges for esports.
Oh, that's
from
awesome.
that. Yeah, it was crazy. But how did that make Dark and Cyrus? So that's the story that led to me looking at some of them and saying, you need to market yourself. I'm going to be some 30-year-old bald man who I can make a YouTube channel and I can make some gaming content. And if I can do it, you can do it. And so I did. I made a YouTube channel. I was making Destiny 2 content, made it for over a year. It was great experience up until the fact that I almost quit the channel and deleted it about a year in because I was getting defeated. But I had accomplished my goal. My kids were growing and everything. And then that's where everything kind of flipped. There was a decision made, and here we are today.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. That's a good story. I love the fact that you were helping kids, that you were a teacher. I love all of that.
Yeah.
I love all of that. All right. So what this show is actually all about, it's all about letting your fans get to know you on a personal level, but in a lighthearted way.
Sure.
Felix is going to start off with some word association questions. I'm going to ask you a little bit more thought-provoking, and we'll end with some this or that. And then right after that, the floor will be yours. You will be able to say anything you would like. Let's start off with some word association. Go ahead and take it, Felix.
All right, Brandon. Just a little word association here, just whatever comes to mind. Okay, the first word, Western.
Movie.
Hero.
Academia.
I like that. I only know that because of my son. Desire.
Lust.
Network.
Growth.
Storm.
Lightning.
Adventure.
Questing.
Bizarre.
5-year-old.
I like that. Memory.
Laughter.
Fear.
Spider.
And the last one, cheeseburger.
Yum.
Agreed.
I love a good cheeseburger. I do.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's good.
All right, I'm going to come in with some, a little bit more thought-provoking questions. And to build off of Felix's cheeseburger, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes, anything between 2 pieces of bread is a sandwich.
Ooh. All right. Well, we'll agree to disagree on this one.
Totally is.
Oh, when I think of a hot dog, though, I think of like going to an event. And I love wrestling. I love going to wrestling events because when that music hits and that wrestler comes through the curtain, you know who he is and what he's all about. If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Oh man, I don't know. Whoa, that's a hard question. Let's see. I think of my favorite song ever, but it totally isn't that, and that's Metallica. It's Fade to Black. It would probably have to be I'm on a highway to hell. I don't know, man. But then I think of I was in musical theater stuff, like Let It Go with Frozen, maybe. I don't know, man.
I like that one.
Man, that's 2 different ends of the spectrum right there.
Yeah, even music growing up, that was huge. Was I got my first guitar when I was 12, 13, and that's all I did was pull up tabs of 70s, 80s because it was the best songs to learn on guitar, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I went through my huge big hair band 70s rock kind of era. Loved every bit of that, but yeah, and then obviously doing musicals with kids being a choir teacher, I was all about that.
Oh, I definitely get it.
Yeah.
We're going to stay with music. What is your guilty pleasure car karaoke song? You know that song you crank up the windows but turn up the radio and just sing along with, but you're kind of embarrassed that you do?
Oh my God. Okay, so context though, chorus teacher. I pull up karaoke in the car. Okay. So I pull up karaoke stuff and sing to the track because I think I'm like Celine Dion, but I'm totally not. But no joke, I've listened to this thing probably 300 times in the last year. Is actually Michael Bolton doing Hercules, which is it's such a good song. Yeah, it's crazy. So doing that would be probably the best thing from that standpoint. However, my playlist, everyone hates on them, but I love it so much, which is Nickelback's Photograph, the album. Oh man, I'm all about some Nickelback. People can hate on it all they want.
You know what? I don't hate on Nickelback. I kind of like them too, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna stay in the car though. What is the farthest you've ever traveled from home for vacation?
Oh wow. TwitchCon San Diego 2 years ago. I'm actually going back to TwitchCon San Diego this year. They literally just released the tickets as of recording this video today.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, that's the furthest plane driving. We drove all the way to New Orleans. My wife and I did for a trip.
Oh, nice. I've always wanted to go to San Diego, but for like Comic-Con. San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an adventure. Let me just say that. Just for, I think I might have said it, but I'm East Coast, like South Carolina side.
Oh, nice. I'm in Texas. I'm in Texas right now. So, and Felix, where are you from? Just go ahead and say it out there.
I'm from Arizona.
Yeah. Got it. What part of Texas? I've been to Dallas and Houston.
I'm like right between Austin and Dallas. It's a little military town called Killeen.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
He's from Florida though.
Yeah, I'm originally from Florida, but I've been here for 2.5 years.
Yeah, he's one of those
years
weirdos.
Yeah. I am Florida man.
So. Hey, nothing wrong with that. You're not on one of the headlines that come out of Florida all the time, though, I would assume.
Not this week, no.
Oh.
Not this week.
I love it.
The last question was in miles. This one we're going to go in time. If you could travel 10 years to the past or 10 years to the future, but only for 24 hours, which way would you go and why?
Oh, wow. You talk about thought-provoking. Listen to you now. 10 years in the past, I'd be like 23, married for 2 years, teaching my first job. I'll be honest, I don't want to see my future and live it before I see it, because I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose. I feel like I would go back in time and just tell my former self that everything is going to be fine and you're going to face a lot of challenges moving forward, that you are purposeful and you are impactful, and don't ever discount that when finding opportunities for yourself.
I like that. Self-pep talk. I love it. I love it. All right, how about a little color theory? How would you describe the color purple to a blind man?
Oh God. Wow. How do you describe a color to someone who's blind? You ever had the emotion when you have the feeling that it's about to rain and it's just like that calmness that's about to happen, the smell that occurs, and just the general relaxing feeling of that, probably that would be purple.
Oh, I like that. You know what? That's the first time anybody's ever said that one, and I totally get it.
I don't even know what the other answers would be.
We've had a few. I think one of them was like a royalty or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What is the funniest thing to ever happen to you that you can legally talk about?
Oh, wow. The funniest thing. Let me think about this for a second. I don't know off the top of my head. Let me think.
How much do you really want to put out there is really the question.
Well, yeah, but let's see. Man, that's a lot to think of. Okay, so ironic thing that's kind of funny. Camping with my family. Okay, we used to go to camping at a lake, probably about 2 hours from us. We're at the grocery store. We're camping at the lake in tents, by the way. We went to the grocery store to get materials, and while I'm in the store, I look at my brother, who's older than me by a couple years, and I said, man, would it be funny if we just found some like money in the parking lot or something along those lines, right? We go outside and there's like a $10 bill beside the truck. Okay, that's crazy in itself. But what's funny about this is, we were like, oh my God, this is such a crazy day. Like, how did that occur? So then we're driving back to the lake and it starts hailing in like massive storm. And my grandfather, he had a bed in the back of his old like Nissan truck. Okay. And so he put the bed in the back and he had a big camper thing on it. So we would get in the back. You could open up both windows and you could crawl through. And so it's hailing really bad. I'm in the back of the camper thing. My brother's in the front and they're driving, right? And they're like, get in the car, get in the car. So I'm crawling through this camper thing. Hail hit me in the back this whole time. We get back to the campsite. We pull up in, nose into the campsite. Tents are right there. And we see the water spout in the water right in front of the campsite. It's maybe like 50, 100 feet right in front of the campsite, right? Ooh. And so it's not the first time we've ever seen a water spout or a tornado at that lake. But luckily we were close enough to the like bathhouse, which is all like multi-layer brick because they know this happens. And so they're like, run to the bathhouse. So we like get out, we're like sprinting, right? Sprinting to this thing, and you just see it just ripping tents out into the water. And so it was a bad day for everyone else, but for us, we were like, oh my God, this $10 bill just caused this whole situation. So it was just an interesting story.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. That's a good one. I love it. It. If you were to poll your family and friends, what would they say you're most known for?
Violin, 100%.
Violin?
Not even a question. Yeah. I've been doing violin for a long time. This is 24 years now, and I've played countless weddings. I was one of those, like, and I'm not tooting my horn, but at some point you have to realize you have a talent, right? I'm good at violin. Like, I full ride to college, concert master. They obviously brought me there to pay. They took me. I was going to go to Columbia, USC Columbia. And another smaller school said, no, we're paying you full. Please come here. No debt.
Oh, nice.
So I went there, and I became this like rescue violinist for these people who like, they would have a last minute cancellation. So they'd be like, can you please come play our wedding? And like, I can improv anything. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you tell me an hour, can you improv an hour? I can do it. I can just play random stuff in key, sound good, whatever the case. And that's not trying to like toot my horn, but the truth is it can happen. So a lot of times I would get calls from people who are like, I can't make it Saturday, can you please do this? And so I have played countless weddings, former friends, teachers. I've played former students' weddings.
Well, that
things
had
like
to been cool, actually. That had to be pretty cool to do a student, yeah.
It's yes. And in that same case, it was also really nerve-wracking too, because like the mom was the mom up there at the very front, and like I knew them in a different perspective. So they'd walk over and they'd be like, oh, hello, Mr. Leonard. And I was like, hey, I hope you like the music today. I'm the person today. But it was always fun, yeah.
Very cool, very cool. I'm a Superman guy. I love Superman. I love comics. But if you had a superhuman power, what would it be, and would you use it for good or evil?
Oh man, naughty. I think, if anything, I would want to have telekinesis. If I'm being honest, I would love to have telekinesis, and I would want to have it obviously to do good. I don't want to do bad. That's awful. I think I would want to have telekinesis just from the aspect of there are just some things that are out of your control. And sometimes you just feel, and this happens to everyone, especially as a dad. And I'm not sure if either one of you have kids, but as a dad, there are just some things that I'm foreseeing in the future. My son's 5, and I'm like, that's the power that I would want to have. Super strength, that could be helpful, right? But like telepathy or telekinesis, I could be okay with that.
No, that works
pretty cool.
perfect, actually. Yeah, especially for young kids. I
Yeah.
can definitely see that. Like I said, I love Superman. I love comics. That is my media of choice. But what single piece of media, whether it be book, movie, or TV show, has had the most influence on the person you are today?
Ooh. I love movies. When I was a kid, I used to watch movies all the time. I think there was a movie about, I'm trying to remember the name of it while I'm trying to talk about it. I think it's called The Soloist. I think it was Robert Downey Jr. and Jamie Foxx. I might be completely wrong on Downey Jr., but I'm pretty sure it was. But Jamie Foxx was the soloist in that. He was a fantastic cello player, but completely homeless, non-communicative, things like that. And he basically puts him up, gives him this opportunity to be a soloist, lets him have his limelight, and he eventually plays in a big orchestra, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think now being in the position where I'm at, understanding that everyone has their gift. Sometimes they are the person that is overlooked or not found, or they are the person that is not impacted in a positive way, or sometimes it's something that is an external factor in their life that have caused them to be in the situation they're in. Sometimes it's not their fault to be there, and it's our job as people, genuinely, to be the helping hand, the understanding person. And I think if we saw a lot of that more in today's world, I think we could be a better society. But as a teacher, it was really easy for me to look at these kids every day that could come in broken, whether it be something that happened at home or something that was happening, something that's upcoming that is just for us as adults is a trivial thing, but for kids, it's a life-changing event that's about to occur, right? And just being able to be a voice that would listen, or someone who's going to be able to offer advice when asked for, and just to be that person that they need in that moment. And in that movie, that was the person that they both needed, and it was such a beautiful recommendation for that. Yeah, I think trying to see the good in people was huge for me. But then my favorite movie is Gone in 60 Seconds, which is completely disconnected to that. Just because Eleanor is beautiful.
I love the difference there. Let's help lift people up, and then let's go steal cars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's still the same thing. It's a story of how you got put into a bad situation, and same idea, same concept. But I think as people, we have to realize that what we do in our lives is impactful, whether it be the person that we meet one day, or the statement that we make to someone, or the person who we might meet in the future. Are we prepared to be who that person needs? Yeah.
No, definitely be more understanding. That's a great message, actually. I love it. But speaking of movies, though, if your life was a movie, what would the title be, and who would play you?
Oh my God, Chris Farley. Hands down, Chris Farley. And if my life had a title, well, let's try this. I think that has to be. My whole story is about, no one in my family had went to college. I went to college. No one in my family paid for my college. I had to find my own solution. I moved out of my house when I was 20. We had an apartment. My wife and I got married young. My son has autism. No one around us in our family has nothing in connection to that. It's just my whole life has been, there's no rule book for what's to occur. And now I'm doing
no rule book at all.
Now I'm doing YouTube.
There definitely is no rule book. I realized just the other day that my parents were making it up just like I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
And we mentioned movies earlier, Chris Farley playing you. I love movies. Castaway is actually one of my favorite movies where he's stranded on a desert island. And if you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 items would you take with you, and why?
Oof. Wow. What 3 items? Number 1, I would take a fire starter, like a flint kind of thing. What I am not a person in survival, so I'm just gonna say one of the things to make fire. The second thing I would probably take is a wind-up flashlight. And probably a some kind of an instrument, a banjo, fiddle, something. Maybe something that doesn't require strings. I don't know, something to entertain myself.
No, that's really good.
You could probably make everything else. You probably make a bowl out of something with a tree, etc. for water, all that. But yeah,
get you a rock and just chip away at it for a bowl or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Something crazy. That's a hard question. I would not live on Naked and Afraid. Let me just tell you that.
There's some situations I can make it, but most of those where the bugs just would get to me on Naked and Afraid. Yeah.
No, we even Aston and I were talking. My wife asked him, we were talking like places we could live in the world, and I was like, you know what, we could go to Australia. And she was like, no, we can't. The moment I see one of those big spiders, we have to burn the entire house down, the whole thing. Just light it on fire.
I'm out. I'm with her. With it. Yeah. If you could switch lives with anyone for one day, who would it be and why?
Sorry, my wife hopped in here and said it's called a huntsman spider. I would burn the house down.
Oh yeah, I'm with her. I'm with her.
If I could switch lives with someone for a day, probably my wife, if I'm being 100% honest. And what I'll say that's because I don't know. She's going through a doctoral program. I'm not smart enough to do that. But I think seeing the opposite perspective and seeing what she goes through on a day-to-day basis would help me be a better partner, and just being more understanding. Sure, anyone can say I want to be a millionaire or change over, but when I come back, that's not going to directly impact my life.
No, that's such a good answer.
Good.
I love that. I almost wish I could go back in my interview and change my answer now. That's a good one. That's a go.
Brownie points.
Yeah, I love it. Last couple questions. What are your 1 year, 5 year, and 10-year goals?
Yes. As someone who's been doing this a while, I've always had goals. My 1 year goal, I want to be. At 1 year, I want to be self-sustaining with an editor and a social media person on my team. That's what I want. Right now, I'm like I've got like a part-time editor with me, and that's fine. But I'm not consistent enough in some kind of deals that are occurring. They're kind of sporadic every now and then, so I'm trying to line that stuff out. So my 1 year is I would like to be a little bit more self-sufficient so I can hand off the stuff that takes a little too much time. And those of you watching, depending on where you are in your journey as a content person or not, or if you don't understand, creating content is not just hitting record. There's a lot more process between the planning and the, in my case, it's the emails back and forth with brands. I really need a manager, an agency to take me, but that whole situation takes so much more time than it is to actually create the content and plan it. And I would like to be at a point where I can continue to help brands and reach them on goals that they want to accomplish and bring their content in front of my viewers. But I'd like to have those people on my team quicker. Right. 5 years, I think when we started this process about 3 years ago, talking about my community and where we were going to be, we wanted a brick and mortar location, an actual building that was meant to be a studio. And it wasn't a studio for my content. It was a studio to be able to offer all the things that we do as a community, which is helping creators, tutorials, giving them an opportunity, other kinds of YouTube channels, and expanding. We wanted to have a space that offered client opportunities for companies in the area. Hey, come in and record in our studio, come do your stuff. We have editors, everything. Here's a, a la carte cost kind of situation. to be servicing to our community. But then the next thing was to also have a way of bringing people in for coaching that are maybe local creators, or even having a con of some sort where we can do online classes or even in-person classes to help them. Here's how you do some basic editing, maybe even have a couple of rooms set up that you could either trade time for editing to learn that you could also stream in with the company in some way, but also in that same case to also give other opportunities for maybe bringing in, since we have creative writers or something like that, bringing in some people who might be at the shelters in the area to where we can do their headshots for them and build up their resume and help them connect to maybe some of the local companies that we had serviced and pass their resumes that way. That's something that I want to do as a service to my community. Sure, I can do everything online, but I think when you give back to your local community is a huge opportunity for you just to see the impact directly, not just socially and visually on, some social media application. Right. 5 years that puts us in like 5th grade. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. 10 years though, I want to be in a more of a coaching position and less of a hands-in position. I really, like, my son would be like high school age at that time. I personally want to be as involved as possible in his growth. And I have been 5 years now doing this and doing content. And for the first 4, I did that. I had a rule where it was up till 8 o'clock. Like, Hudson's bedtime was 8 o'clock. When he went to bed, that was my time for content. Like, I didn't do anything until he was asleep. It was important to me. And so I would stay up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, either streaming or recording or editing or something, and then go teach during the day, come home, spend time with family, record and edit. And I did that grind for so long that I'm ready to switch those reins. And I don't know what 10 years would look like, but I do know that I've gained so many skills that regardless of where I'm going into, I want to be a part of helping people grow. And I see myself being in this broadcast space for a while. I feel like I'm okay at it, and I'm doing decently with what I'm doing. And I feel like I have a platform to help people, which is what I'm doing a lot more recently with these YouTube streams. It's just giving back. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Those
are great goals, man. I love how throughout this whole thing, you're all about giving back and helping. And to me, I really love that. I see the St. Jude's behind you there too as well. And I know you just did like a month or so ago, a fundraiser type deal for St. Jude's, I believe it was. And that was really cool. So you're just a good guy. And that's what I really love. Yeah. The last question I have is, if you took center stage to the world, what would your message be?
Is it worth it? I think that's the simple statement of it all. Is it worth it? Is your need for your profits of your company to go up 10% worth what you're gaining in the end? Or is that opportunity given to where you can give back to a community and solve problems? Is it worth the opportunities that you're giving up because you're too selfish to recognize that you are a simple person in this world, and what you bring is your importance, and you're trying to chase something that is sometimes is out of reach, but in that same case you are not even motivated to reach it, but you've put yourself in an unachievable situation. Is it worth all of the opinions and the fighting to have an opportunity for you to feel validated as a person, as an individual in this world, to say that this is my belief, this is who I am, and you must follow me? Is it worth that? And also in the same case, is it worth the heartache of your peers in your friends group, of all of the people around you, for you to be so driven on maybe proving them wrong or pushing them away because they're not fitting your current mold, is it worth hurting others for your personal gain? And I think that statement can be applied in so many ways: war, famine, political issues. I think that can just be applied into so much, that when we stop and realize that you're a person who can have the same things occur to you in an ailment standpoint than me as well, that you're not any more or less susceptible to cancer striking you tomorrow. We are the same fallible human body that just has been born into a different situation. And in some cases, that situation puts you in a different tier of, livability, opportunity. Is it worth it? Is it worth you feeling like that you are better than somebody else? And I can't get behind that. And I think, you mentioned St. Jude. I started going with St. Jude like shortly after I started streaming. And as a community, we've raised almost $12,000 for St. Jude since we've been doing fundraising. And it's been a wonderful experience. But actually going to St. Jude, the last 2 years I've actually been up there with their Creator Summit, and actually being on campus, it doesn't matter. None of that junk that I just mentioned matters, because everyone can have something like that happen to them. And I think when we realize that we're all the same person on a human level, and we remove all of the status and the mess that we all think that we're important with titles and follower numbers, and we just walk back to the point of that we're people. That's center stage. Is it worth it? I think that's the best way to say that.
That's such a good message, man. And very well said, by the way.
I appreciate that.
I love that. Very well said. That is all the questions I have for you. We're going to finish off with some rapid fire this or that by Felix. Felix, go ahead and take it away, sir.
All right, man. Is the term GIF or GIF?
GIF. Don't tell me otherwise.
All right. Agreed. Android or Apple?
Doesn't matter, but Apple all day.
DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Michael Jackson or Prince?
Oh God, that's hard, man. Michael Jackson, though. Oh man.
All right. Would you rather call someone or text someone?
Call someone. It's quicker to get it done.
Checkers or chess?
I suck at chess. Checkers.
Books or ebooks?
Neither, because I don't read. Ebooks.
All right. And the last one, soft or hard tacos?
Oh, soft tacos all day, man. All day.
That's a burrito.
Yes, it is a burrito. Yes. If you fold it like a burrito, but it's a taco if you leave it open. It's also a sandwich.
Put a bow right on that one. I like that. All right. That is all the questions we have for you. The last thing we have, though, is do you have anything coming up, and where can people find you?
Yeah, totally. My community does charity fundraisers all year, and whether I'm running them or pushing them, or somebody in my community is running them or pushing them, it's always a good opportunity to either, if you want to be a part of it, whatever the case. And we are of the same mindset of 0 viewers, 10 million viewers, doesn't matter. You as a person are impactful. And if you want to be a part of it, you can be a part of it. $1 raised is $1 closer to a mission. It doesn't matter if it's 2 million or $1, you're closer to that mission and that goal. So what I would say to that is, if you're a person wanting to be a part of something larger than yourself, and you want to say that this is a great opportunity for you to market yourself, also put this on a media kit or a resume for you to work with brands, come join our Discord. You can join on any of my videos. There's a Discord link. We used to have a vanity URL, but that was costing me $50 a month, so we stopped that. So jump on any of my links on my Discord, jump in any of my live streams. That would be great. I have a website if you want to go check something out, darkenedcyrus.live. And on that website, I actually just put up my OBS course for you to pick up for free. If you're a streamer trying to get into it, you need to, what is everything? What is it set up to be? How do you set it up the correct way? It's an hour and 47 minutes of me talking through OBS. I also have times for you to connect with me one-on-one if you want me to walk you through your analytics or walk you through your tech setup. It's a great way to do it. And also links to everything else that you would possibly need that are there. But as far as events that are coming up, we have TwitchCon. We're taking a group of 5 in September, I think it is, September, to go to TwitchCon. That's one of our next really big events. And then every year, we actually just passed it. This coming up will be our 5th annual Share the Love event, which, as of recording this, was only 3 months ago. But 9 months from now, we'll have the 5th annual, which is the weekend prior to Valentine's Day. We gather 24 streamers from all over the world. We get together and we do a full weekend of a raid-a-thon, and that's where we raise money for St. Jude. It's a great time. It's a great event. We do a Christmas fundraiser, usually for Bungie, because they do a nice iPads for Kids program. And anything we can do to help out our local community, that's what we go for. So the last thing I'll say to this is, if you're a person who is trying to find an opportunity and you feel like you're not good enough for it, that is totally not how you need to think of it. What you need to think of it is, if this is what I want to achieve, you set the goal, you figure out what your steps are, and you go for it. If a 33-year-old bald man can make content on YouTube and do what I'm doing today, staring at all of this that's now here, when I looked at where I was at the beginning of this process, if I can do it, you can do it. And I have a degree in music, not a degree in broadcast. So if it's something that your ordinary person can achieve, and this is the goal that I wanted to achieve, you can do the same.
I love it. I love it. Great message. Everybody definitely go check out Darkened Cyrus on YouTube. Follow the links. Dude, great guy, great interview. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. All right, that does it for this episode of Conversations with the Mod Squad. So for Brandon and Felix, I am Kevin saying, if we don't see you again, thank you for being a friend.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.